Hello everybody and welcome back to the Darkest Talks. This is Big Daddy Rocker Gamer, and tonight we're gonna explore two other old concepts, duty and honor, and how they interact with our already previously talked about subjects of loyalty and decency. Honor is an old idea. It comes from the chivalry system that we established during the Dark Ages or Middle Ages, and it was supposed to be a reflection upon lords and ladies and the measure of their worth in social context. It meant to be how people perceived you. But it has changed over the years. Let's just go straight forward. It has changed over the years. The modern understanding of honor is different than what it originally was. Not much, but enough that there is a noticeable difference. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, and duties is a reflection of the things people expect of you. This, of course, sometimes means there is a difference between what people imagine you will do versus what you are doing. It means there's a difference between how you act and what people expect you to act like.
Steady yourself.
And I'm going to look at specifically three characters from pop culture now. One of them being all of them being from the same series to make it easier for reference, and see how they stack up against each other in this case.
A breakthrough.
The characters in question is one whose honor is very high. His entire life is encapsulated by honor. He is known to be the honorable character on the show. I'm of course talking about Eddard Stark. The second character is someone who's honorable, but at some point during the show he loses his honor because he fails at his duties. This is something that applies to a lot of characters in the show. I could have very easily have talked about Jorah Mormont. But I am in fact talking about Sir Sandor Clegane. And it's much more interesting to talk about Sandor because Sandor isn't considered a good guy. So, what is the third character? The third character has no honor. He didn't have any honor at all from the very start of the show until the very end of his life. He does not have any honor in how he's regarded in society. And in case you haven't figured it, that would of course be Sir Jaime Lannister. Sir Jaime is interesting because he's not a bad person. He's a very flawed character, but he's not a bad person. Let's see here, what do I do? Neither. I just chop. He's a flawed person through and through. And I believe he's a fan favorite for a lot of people. And it's entirely warranted. He is a very, very good character. He's well written and he undergoes a lot of things. But what we will see is that some of the things that separates the two of them, and the three of them, is how their duties, how their respective duties defines how they interact with the world, and how in some cases a lack of duties lead to a lack of focus and a disappearing understanding. So let's take a look at Sir Eddard Stark first. Eddard Stark is the Lord of Winterfell. This is the first duty he holds. He was not meant to be the Lord of Winterfell. He just became the Lord of Winterfell because his brother died. He does this service as part of yeah, let's go up here. I don't want to fight unless I have to. I have to fight anyways. Oh well. He doesn't want to fight unless called upon. He was called upon by Robert, and loyalty to Robert made him go to war before the show even started. Now, and his second duties is being Warden of the North. He is continuously in a leadership situation, always being measured, always participating and doing what is expected of the Lord of Winterfell, but also the Warden of the North. He's not just administering parts of it, he's administering all of it. And his next duty is his duty as a father towards his children, which he takes with great he does this duty with great diligence, impressively so for a medieval society where kids were mostly just thrown out and left to figure themselves out. And then he has a duty towards additional family. In this case, the additional family I'm talking about would be the betrayal on his wife, you can say, where he comes home with Jon Snow. But it's not as much a betrayal of his wife, because he never cheats on his wife. Although the wife doesn't know that. It is in fact him keeping his oath to someone else, another woman he loves, his sister. Okay, run and hide. And because of this, he does challenge his, he gets his loyalty a little bit challenged. What do I mean with that? Well, his brother, technically brother, his best friend, Robert, wants him
Steady yourself.
to find all Targaryens, because Targaryens should all die, according to Robert. That's not gonna fly in I'm just misplaying here a lot now. There we go.
Greater threats await those who dare.
Yeah, he chose to take a stain on his honor by pretending Jon Snow was his own child to protect the identity of Jon Snow, so that Robert would not kill him. This is, as far as we are aware, the only betrayal. Okay, let's fight. This is, as far as we know, the only betrayal Lord Eddard Stark does. But Lord Eddard Stark has even more duties that he attends to. And even more duties that he tries to deal with. And that happens when good old Robert shows up at his doorstep and asks him to be the Hand. And he accepts. He accepts because his wife wants him to. Because his wife considers this a good possibility to improve their station, to lead the family into greater prosperity. And he tries to do that by bringing Sansa and Arya to the south and letting Robb become the new official Lord of Winterfell. And finally, when Robert lies dying, he asks his friend once more, "Will you be regent until my son is of age?" And Eddard Stark does this little twist with words and says he will be regent until the rightful heir is of age, fully aware that the rightful heir is Jon Snow. And that ends his career, because he goes up against one of the most dangerous opponents, namely Cersei. Cersei outplays him, and he loses. What is important to take away from this is that Eddard Stark is considered honorable, he's considered a good man, he is considered in all aspects as the stereotype of an honorable man. He is the archetype that everyone else is measured against. And that means... That was not a misplay. I'm hoping to get off with another heal here. Yeah, there we go. And that means that every other character gets measured against Lord Stark in the department of trying to measure up honor-wise towards Lord Stark. The next character that starts honorable, but he loses his honor, would be Sandor Clegane, as I said. And Sandor Clegane is not a very good person. At least not when the show starts. I know he's a fan favorite and a lot of people consider him favorably and enjoys his character, and I do too. But he's not a good person. But he is honorable.
Tonight,
because no matter what he does... Oh man, fatigue is a thing. I gotta get that fixed.
The day is upon us.
I don't know how this team is gonna stack up. And they're all in the wrong order.
Let them break
Great.
Against the bulwark of our defense.
Sandor Clegane is gruesome. He delights way too much in inflicting pain upon others. He's enjoying it much too much. So, what do we learn from Sandor Clegane? He loses his honor, but he isn't really... he loses his honor at the Battle of King's Landing, where he falls apart. Due to childhood traumas, and he loses himself and runs away. He abandons his duties. This is something that you just don't do as a you just don't do that as a as an honorable person. You do not abandon your duties. You complete them. That's what you do. And Sandor doesn't complete his duties. He runs away from them. He chooses to... leave rather than stay and fight through his trauma. And that makes him, in the eyes of society, a coward, and more importantly, a dishonorable coward. Because he ran away when he should have stayed with his king. And this is enough for many societies to completely condemn. An individual.
But a welcome one nonetheless. The enemy weakens and wanes.
Sandor never really regains his honor. But at least he doesn't... Once he already lost it, he can't really lose more. So he's not considered an even bigger loser, so to speak. He is already, in the eyes of the society there, a complete loser. There's nothing worse that he can do. He's already abandoned his duties at that point. But what did I mean with saying he had honor before this battle? He did. Because he was very dutiful. Anything Joffrey asked, he would do it. Anything Cersei asked, he would do it. He would do it with a great amount of success. He would do it with a great amount of
the last remnants of the great dissolution cling stubbornly to these icy peaks.
He would do this with a great amount of success. He would do it with a great amount of skill. He would do it with a great amount of, dare I say, fanaticism. Oh boy. Hopeful. Okay, I can work with that.
The hopeful. While the heart still
Would you look
beats,
at that?
desire will never die.
Bonnie and Junior getting some love around here. That's cool. You can disagree with the notion that the Hound is an honorable man. But in the medieval sense of honor, he was, up until the point when he loses his honor and flees. And he never really regains it. It's not because he's not brave in combat or anything, but he just never regains his honor. He never has an opportunity to. Because he never gains a higher duty that allows him to re-experience himself.
Your collection can wait. Press onward.
Oh no, I'm not gonna have shuffle here. Nah, not a good one.
Though decidedly inconvenient.
The last character
At least we know
has no honor from the very moment the show goes on. And he never regains it, but that doesn't make him a bad character. In fact, he's probably one of the strongest characters in the show, and that's of course Sir Jaime Lannister. Sir Jaime goes through a lot over the course of the series. And he goes from being a very hated character to becoming one of the most misunderstood and sympathized with characters in the game. And I don't think that's entirely without reason. He becomes one of these characters because we get to see the world according to Jaime Lannister. But what makes him so honorless? Well, the simple fact is, he loses all his honor before he even has a chance to get that. Because he fails at all of his duties in life. He was born the first son of Tywin Lannister, and he's set to inherit Casterly Rock and all the Lannister estates. And because he's not allowed to marry his sister, he rejects it and takes up station in the Kingsguard instead. He is then serving in the Kingsguard, which is a very honorable position for some people to have. But he does something
Steady yourself.
in the battle against the Mad King. And for those of you who know, you know that he stabbed the Mad King. Killed him right dead. So before the show starts, he has abandoned his family duties because he didn't want to do what his father told him. He has then gone ahead and enlisted in a nightly service where he's supposed to.
Collaboration confers advantage.
Where he's supposed to guard the king's life, and then finally he abandons that by killing the very king he was set to protect. He fails in every aspect of his duties before the show has even begun. And Jaime continues to fail upwards in this way. Multiple times, over and over and over and over again. Every time Jaime abandons anything, he always does it with the same motivation. And it's always the reason why he is, in fact, a massively awesome character, but ultimately also one of the most flawed characters in the game.
Foundation of trust.
And every time he does something crazy that he shouldn't do, he does it for his sister. He does it for Cersei. Cersei is the reason he does anything. And that links us back to the very first episode, where I said loyalty is one of the biggest hallmarks of what can make someone do something they normally wouldn't do. And Jaime's loyalty towards his sister is what makes him such an amazing character, but also such a messed up character.
A petty hindrance.
So, what really separates these three characters? It is, as said, the duties they hold. Because Sandor doesn't have any duties, besides the single one. His only duty is to be the king's god. Be Joffrey's loyal little hound, so to speak. This is his only duty, and he fails at it miserably. Not because he necessarily fails,
Lethality writ large.
but because he abandons his duties.
An invariable
Clegane,
result.
that is. And abandoning duties is considered one of the biggest failures of society in medieval times. Eddard Stark, though, has plenty of duties. We went over most of them already. He is oh, hopeful. There's a lot of things triggering here. He is a father. He is a son. He is a friend. He is a warden. He is the hound. He carries out every duty he gets without fault. Eddard Stark just gets shit done to the best of his ability. He does not fail. He does not argue. He goes through with them. Everything he can go through with, he goes through with, and he does his best to make it happen. Over and over and over again. And Jaime Lannister, he abandons his duties. He was born to be the first son. He abandons it to run away. He kills his king. He basically messes up everything. And he does it all for the love of his sister. When the sister says, let's do something,
Leaders they admire.
he agrees. When the sister says, I want you to do this, he does it. When the sister says, I want you to be this and that for me, he does it. He just does whatever he is needed to do, because that's just the kind of a character he is. I have way too many tanks in this setup. I need to change one of them around, I think. And only one healer. Oh boy.
Mistimed as directed.
And yeah, we're reaching that point where the differences between the characters are basically boiled down to what kind of characters they are, what things they seek in their lives. Yeah, let's heal up.
A calculated generosity, but a welcome one nonetheless. Trapped, held captive.
And even if Jaime's story takes him a lot of interesting places, he is, by and far, quite possibly the most interesting character in the series of all of these characters. It doesn't change the fact that he, nonetheless, is a he's a very honorless character. Whereas Eddard Stark is a very faulty person. I would not exactly say he's a good character in the sense that he's a good man. But I might argue that he's well written because he's nuanced. Everything he does has specific motivations, at least. Yeah, I think that's the best I can describe it as.
What fresh provocation will the day bring? Another nameless city. Another inferno of mutilation and madness.
Can I practice up some skills here?
Without tail, there can be no tooth. Spend what you can, or wealth no longer has meaning. If indeed it ever did.
Alright. So what is the key difference between these characters? What is it that makes them so different? It's their duties. Their duties provides their sense of purpose. The sense of purpose is what focuses them on the things that they care about.
An elementary problem, is it not?
In the case of the Hound, he has no focus. He has no purpose. He tries to find himself some purpose when he takes Arya and tries to return her, but it's mostly in the spirit of self-interest. He's not actually looking to deliverable. Hunger of the Beast. I should hand these out to different inns, I think. Okay, so basically travel. That's fair enough. I can do that.
Let nothing bar your path.
And he is the Hound, that is. He's a very good comparison to what happens in modern society when, for example, kids, or specifically teenagers, don't have any purpose in mind. They don't have any higher goal to reach towards. They don't have anything more to aspire towards. So naturally, they just spiral into sometimes violence, regression, into many other delinquent behaviors, as we would call it. But this is from a lack of a purpose. Most kids who have a purpose have something to go towards, something that interests them.
These folk have kept
They
their honor.
fare much better in society. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to go with her. Although I would love to have the additional combat items. Well, I think she's the way to go. Simply because she has more relationship with Dismas. I might need to replace Dismas entirely because he is not vibing with this bunch. He's antagonizing everyone. He's a delinquent. Lord Eddard Stark is someone who has a lot of purpose. He has so much purpose that he doesn't know even where to start. Most of his purposes come at cross edge from time to time. Easy street. Okay.
An inn is under siege.
And two of them. We can best support them.
Moving alone in hostile territory. Let us
Yeah, I
hope
think
for
that's
their
the
safe
best.
arrival.
I think that's...
The farms and fields of our kingdom
Yeah, I think that's
overrun
the
with
setup.
putrescence and rot.
Oh, really? You're still hateful towards her. Does this ever, go away? Apparently not. Jaime Lannister might not have a lot of duties, unlike Eddard Stark, but Jaime Lannister has purpose. You can say a lot of things about Jaime but he's not lacking in purpose. From the very get-go, he is one of the most purpose-specific characters in the series. Everything always comes down to Cersei with him. And that's okay. That's okay.
This is no time to falter.
I know they don't like this mess, but they just have to suck it up, buttercups. Again, Jaime has purpose, even if he doesn't have honor. This is what makes him a compelling and good character. And you can see similar things in people. Although they might flake out, they might not do what they say they're supposed to do. They might be late, they might not show up, they might do anything and everything in between, except what they said they should. But as long as they have purpose, they can flake on as much as they want. They will always... You can always count on them to do certain things as long as people have purpose. And duties is the simplest and easiest way to generate purpose for people. And it should not be underestimated. The importance of purpose in modern society, especially in a society where we are less and less involved and more online. The power of purpose is more and more prevalent every day.
A simple variable, easily resolved.
Wow. Taking a lot of damage here.
Cooperation is the key. This road cannot be walked alone.
Need to heal all this fatigue.
The work continues.
Yeah, like that.
Straightforward.
I'm gonna change around skills before I forget. Now,
crop grows unchecked. And
the importance point blank shot. Good. There we go. The importance of duties and why, in old societies at least, we started teaching kids to be a part of the everyday life as early as possible. Yes, they should play. They should educate themselves in this way, because play is very important to learning social interactions. It's very important to learning basic motorics of your body and so on. But the most important aspect,
the odds of illness are high.
but the most important aspect of of her childhood.
Your collection can wait.
Is to learn to
Press
be
onward.
a responsible adult, so to speak. I'm gonna set him up with all of these things. This. And by bringing your kids into small-scale duties, like
The flame
teaching them how to
sputters.
do chores
You must give hope.
and bringing them into a better life that way, you give them purpose. You give, besides being the spoiled little brat that they are,
Desperate and wanting. Will you rebuff
is
their
how people
earnest
used to
pleas?
raise their kids back then. Unfriendly. This one is bad. This one is worse. This one is not good. I don't have a lot of light to go. But it's short trips here. Okay, let's do this.
An unexpected find.
And nowadays, people are afraid of duty. They don't want anything tying them down. They don't want responsibilities. They don't want anything that could, in any way, shape, or form, be perceived as holding them back. But does that make them happy? I don't think so. I don't think people in that sort of situation are happy at all. I'm setting up regeneration because I'm going to take a lot of damage, so I might as well just limit how much damage I take. Holy crud, that's a good hit.
However horrid, can be brought to heel. Let us hope to finish this quickly. The work continues.
And the characters
Is the key.
of the Game of Thrones series. Some people would say that Lord Eddard Stark is a smug. I mean, he dies he doesn't die a noble death. Everybody knows by now he gets beheaded. For treason, no less. Although he doesn't do anything very treasonous. Just gonna do this because I want to have some sanity health in here. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Fix his health. Let's see. Ranald heals sanity, that's what he does. Yeah, but some people would consider Lord Stark to be a schmuck. He always does what others expect of him. And he does it very well. Most people would never trust Jaime, because Jaime is unpredictable. You can't know what Jaime's next move will be, because Jaime just does whatever Jaime feels like doing. Jaime doesn't... Jaime's not someone you can count on unless you hold his sister hostage. Because Jaime just does things his own way when he feels like it. And no one can control Jaime. And the Hound is a sort of unhappy medium between the both of them. He's not entirely without conscience, but he isn't the most kind-hearted person in the crew either. He relishes the duties he has when he has them, because it fills him with purpose. But he also knows very well that whatever duties he has is not entirely up to him. I'm just gonna stack up a load of burn here.
An unavoidable end.
Yeah. The main difference between these characters is in the amount of duties they have, the way they carry them through, and how it affects their life for better and worse. And I think that's a good place for us to stop. Honor and duty can most easily be summarized with, I don't think I'm gonna make it there in 2 days. That sucks. Honor and duty can most easily be summarized with
the farms and fields of our kingdom, overrun with putrescence and rot.
And that is us.
Each covets what the other has, and plots to take it.
I think there's not much else I can really say about the concepts of honor and duty. Duties is the expectations set upon you by others and how they interact. Honor is how you complete those duties, what people expect you to do, and the measure of how well you are at doing it. In the old medieval world, honor was considered very, very important, because when the Lord said, "On my honor," you were expected to bring people, you were expected to bring services, you were expected to bring even entire estates if you said something upon your honor. Lord Eddard Stark abandons his honor only once, but it's all in secrecy, and that's when he hides the identity of Jon Snow. You can argue it was for a higher cause, and you would be correct. It's to protect an innocent child from death. This is the one stain upon his honor he has. He's a good family man. He's a good father. He's a good ruler. And he takes all of his duties very seriously. Jaime Lannister is on the opposite end of the spectrum. He doesn't take any duties seriously. He only has one purpose: to make sure that Cersei lives, and if she can't live, that he should be there with her when she dies. His entire story is about keeping Cersei safe, keeping Cersei close, keeping Cersei alive. He abandons every duty he has. Not only does he abandon his familial duties to take up the mantle of becoming a lord, he abandons his Kingsguard duties by slaying his own king. And this is before the show even starts. He abandons Cersei to travel north and defend the wall when he believes the threat to the Seven Kingdoms cannot be ignored. He abandons his newfound allies and friends at the wall to go back to Cersei again after they have defeated the threat of the White Walkers. In short, Jaime abandons all of his duties, but Jaime still, when it comes down to it, a good man, although he's honorless and he sometimes does really gruesome things. Sandor Clegane is not a good man. He's incredibly selfish, and he does vile acts that many people will despise him for. I go back to season 1 and the slaughter of the butcher's boy at the order of Prince Joffrey. But he tries to maintain what little honor he has by fulfilling his duties and doing them. And when he runs away from his own duties at the Battle of King's Landing, he conceptually tries to find himself more honor by latching himself onto new causes and trying to find a new purpose in life. He never regains his honor, but at least he regains his own sense of self-worth. Because honor is very often tied to self-worth. And how does this interact with what we talked about in the previous episode? Jaime Lannister's loyalties and Lord Eddard Stark's loyalties are tested. In the case of Jaime, he's not a decent person. He's a good person, but not a decent one. Those can be different. What do I mean? Because his loyalty to Cersei makes him throw a kid out the window from the top of a tower. You all know. It happens in the very first episode. And those are not the only atrocities he does on behalf of his sister. In the case of Eddard Stark, he is a good man. He is a very decent man. Because the only smirch on his honor is the real parentage of Jon Snow. He would rather people believe him be an adulterer than give up Jon Snow for death. And so, you can tell by the life choices that they made where their loyalties lie. Jaime's always loyal to Cersei. Ned is always loyal to his family. And Sandor has no loyalty anywhere. This affects what duties they have and how people perceive them, how honorable they're perceived. And in a different world, where people would have been able to see Jaime's chain of thoughts, he might have been the hero when he slayed the old Mad King. I will leave you to think about these things. You're probably even more confused now than before you went in. That's okay. We're all confused at some point. See you next time. This has been The Darkest Talks.